So as people join, I think I'll show this slide so people can recognize that they are in the right place. All right, our numbers are going up. Just it takes folks just a few minutes to join. All right, and if you'd like also to check the chat box and say where you're from, that's what we often ask people as they join, to share where they're from. All right, I think with that, oh, wonderful. Professor Logan has just joined us, representing our Elections and Nominations Committee. So with that, we are now live. Folks are joining. This event is going to be recorded. I'd like to ask people to use the chat box throughout the entire session. Those who are joining can type in who they are as far as members participating and where they're from. And with that, I would like to hand it over to Professor Rowlands to welcome everyone.
Yes, so fantastic. Thank you so much, Sabrina. And it's just great to see everybody. And thank you so much for your interest in these really important roles. I've been engaged with IHLA since it first started, and it's proving to be so exciting and such a force for good. And we're getting so many benefits from the international collaboration and the opportunities to get thoughts and views from colleagues all over the world. So IHLA is terrific. It's a very exciting organisation to be part of, and these are absolutely key roles. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what you have to say. I wish you all the very best in the elections, and I'll just hand over so that we can take things forward. Thank you so much, Sabrina.
Wonderful. All right, with that, I'm going to now just say a few words. Thank you very much, Professor Rowlands, for welcoming all of us, being a very active executive board member for these developmental years, as has Professor Logan, been very active board member and very instrumental to the Elections and Nominations Committee, who's also part of our panel. So welcome participants to the IHLA Elections Campaign webinar. The International Health Literacy Association, IHLA, is a non-governmental organization promoting health literacy for all, open to all individuals and organizations, and we are run by and for members. Please membership is free, so please let people know about that. We are conducting, or IHLA is conducting the first elections to elect positions according to the Constitution and bylaws. These elected positions are for the IHLA's vice president. After 3 years, that position will become the president of IHLA, IHLA treasurer, a 3-year appointment, and elected standing committees, research standards, practice standards, and nominations and elections committee. These are elected positions. There are 9 positions for each of these committees. These committees, this is also a transitional time towards our governance structure and executive board, again, according to IHLA's constitution. That will be the president, vice president, treasurer on the executive board, as well as the selected chairs of the 3 elected committees, chair of our Council of Divisions and Interest Groups, chair of our Council of Affiliates or organizational members, chair of our appointed committees, chair of our past President's Council, as well as representative from the Secretariat will be our new governance structure and executive board. The timeline for these elections is that elections are now open. The deadline for voting is December 18th, and we will announce on January in January 14th, and then the new board will take office January 25th. This is a lot of information. I'd like to encourage you to go to our website for more information. But with that, I really want to now turn it over to our candidates. For Vice President, we'll hear from each of our candidates. And then please feel free to use the chat box for comments and questions. Each will have a question to respond to. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now and invite our first candidate to make a statement, which is Professor Fonseca, who was not able to join us today, so has sent a recording, and I'm going to play that recording now. And we will then hear from our next candidate. So Professor Fonseca, please.
Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure to be with you. It's a pleasure to announce my applying for this vice president chair, as a manner of speaking. And I would like to say to you all that the word that will be always on my mind during this process is the word cooperation. And cooperation with whom? Cooperation with the president, cooperation with the whole team, and not just the team that it's in our organization. When I mean the whole team, it's really the whole team, the whole societies and organizations on health literacy around the world, because this is the only way that we can build bridges in order to promote a better understanding of health issues, a better understanding of what's going in our world nowadays, that the health and this epidemic, it's in our houses every day. Nowadays, more than ever, health literacy is a real important subject for us all. That's why, for me, cooperation, it's the real keyword that we need to have in our hands, because without cooperation we can't live this epidemic, and we can get rid of it. So I want to build strong bridges of collaboration around the world with all the societies and all the organizations that promote health literacy. But furthermore, I want to be an active agent of the promotion of health literacy in other forums, like the political arena, the academic field, the enterprise field, because I think that without this cooperation between all the institutions of our societies, it's difficult to have a stronger health literacy in the future. And that's why one of my proposals is to promote a second and third cycle graduations on health literacy around the world, because we have to make health literacy a stronger discipline, a stronger scientific matter, in order to make those who make decisions about our health, our lives, look at health literacy with our eyes. So please, if you want more cooperation, if you want more bridges between institutions all around the world, if you want more recognition in the political, academic and scientific arenas, if you want more health literacy in our everyday life, please vote on me. You are voting on health literacy for all. Thank you, and see you soon.
Okay, wonderful. That was our first candidate for Vice President. I'd like to now turn it over to Dr. Iqbal, also a candidate for Vice President. Please, if you'd like to make your statement.
Hello, everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name is Dr. Iqbal. I'm a pharmacist by profession and an entrepreneur by passion. I'm nominating myself for the election of Vice President in International Health Literacy Association. Currently, I'm the CEO of Bright Hospital and principal of Bright Institute of Medical Sciences. Currently, I'm working as a lab franchisee of Pakistan's largest cancer hospital. That is Shaukat Khanum Laboratory Collection Center and its other co-branches. I graduated as a Doctor of Pharmacy from Government College University, Faisalabad, and recently attempted board certified pharmacotherapy specialist certification exam conducted by Board of Pharmacy Specialties, United States of America. With 11 years of professional experience, I can perform the key role in International Health Literacy Association because I have a blended experience in 3 JCI certified hospitals. So I can better understand the healthcare structure around the world that is accredited by the Joint Commission International. Moreover, I want to share some other achievements. I have always strived for international exposure and travel. In 2018, I attended FIP World Congress held in Glasgow, UK. And after a year in 2019, I was able to join and contribute in FIP World Congress held in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. To satisfy my quest for gaining and sharing knowledge, I attended 2nd International Health Literacy in Action Conference organized by Healthcare Advancement in the University of Maryland, United States of America in October 2019. I'm the member of international professional organizations such as International Pharmaceutical Federation, American Society of Parental and Enteral Nutrition, and now I feel myself competent enough to run for the position of Vice President in this bigger platform. This bigger platform can cause wonders in the world, especially in the developing countries and in the third world countries, if they are given the opportunity, the people living there, the community, the masses are given the opportunity to know about their basic health issues and to how to resolve them and how to prevent the preventable diseases. So we can reduce a lot of disease burden from the world. As the head of an institute imparting medical education, I try my best to promote health literacy in my community. My students are integral part of my mission. Through my mentorship and my preceptorship, they propagate authentic, unbiased, health-related information to the masses in their native languages. Moreover, I host radio shows in different radio programs, and I especially emphasize on a promotion of World Health Days to promote awareness about disease and prevention of different diseases, especially. So I want to ask about running this position, and I request all the members of this great platform to vote and support me. I shall contribute to uplift the main cause and main mission of this international platform. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. We are asking all candidates to asking all candidates to respond to a question and in the chat box. And Dr. Iqbal, you are welcome to respond to this question orally, since you have the stage, which is equity is one of IHLA's priorities over the next 3 years. How will you help IHLA to foster equity?
Okay, yeah, this is a great question, and especially related to International Health Literacy Association. My task to portray the mission of this organization throughout the world, especially when we talk about international community, we should focus on the developing countries and other nations who are struggling financially and they are less literate. So my mission will be practically uplift the literacy level of lower middle income countries and developing countries and low income countries. My mission will be to incorporate more and more members from these countries and to involve them and give them the different tasks, and to you can say greatly involve them in our mission, so that we can aware the masses in those countries. In this way, these countries will be you can say fighting with the diseases. They will be improving their health, and they will be reducing their financial burden to make themselves equal to other nations, developed nations. This will be my target in the next 3 years. And the more and more engagement of the developing nations.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'd like to now pass it on to Professor Oken to make your statement.
Thanks, Sabrina, for having me, and welcome everybody. I'm Orkan Okan from Germany, and I'm professor of health literacy at Technical University in Munich. I'm currently chairing the IHLA interest group Health Literacy in Schools, and I am also member of the IHLA Standing Committee on Policy and Advocacy. To me, IHLA is the international voice of health literacy. And with my election, I want to make sure that this voice is heard in the world. I've decided to run for president because I support IHLA, and I also believe in the values and goals and principles, and I want to take a responsibility to further develop the organization. But I believe this can only be done with the help of each of us, so the members, because this can be achieved only and accomplished through grassroots movements, starting with the individual members and the interest groups. So IHLA has to grow from the within to the outside, from the bottom to the top. And therefore I have 3 priority areas that I want to introduce, of course, based on, in addition to those that I made in my statement already. First is interest group and members. The second is visibility, impact, and global reach. And the third is research, practice, and policy. And of course, in all 3 of these, equity and sustainability are kind of cross-cutting topics that touch them. First is members and interest groups. I want to strengthen and focus on the interest groups. Currently, we have 24 of them, indicating the enormous potential of health literacy and also the IHLA itself. These IGs, they are driven by the members, which is why it will be very important to empower the individual members, to support them, to help them, and to also facilitate that they can realize their ideas, wishes, and interests within IHLA and beyond. I think this is paramount. When it comes to membership and the members, the individual members, of course, we have to think about the formalities of membership. At the moment, there are no membership fees involved, but eventually one day membership fees costs will come. And when that day comes, we have to make sure to develop and implement a model that is based on equity and does just to all the members, no matter where they live or what they are working. It must be important that all the members will have the opportunity to become member of IHLA and stay member of IHLA. The second priority is visibility, impact, and global reach. I mean, IHLA is still a very young organization. And I want to support that we increase IHLA's visibility, its global impact, and the reach in all fields of health literacy, related fields, and also beyond. IHLA has to become active and a partner in other organizations, in networks, and in the field of policy. We can address these issues, of course, on the institutional leadership level of IHLA, but I believe we have to foster and empower the members to take responsibility, to act as representatives of IHLA, because they are living all across the world. They are in touch with all the relevant organizations and networks, and they can represent IHLA's interests, where they live and where they work, and support this strategy. So IHLA's members are the most valuable asset, a commodity that we have to make sure we use and implement correctly. The third focus area is, of course, research, practice, and policy. The past 2 years have quite demonstrated how important health literacy is to societies and to health. And this is the reason that I want to make sure that IHLA takes action and advocates research, increases and improves research opportunities, that IHLA promotes health literacy in practical fields, especially in organizations, in professionals, and that also IHLA is part of regional, national, and global health policy development. So this is also another key pillar that is really paramount for the further development of the IHLA. And I think that all these priorities can only be successfully accomplished if we have a strong IHLA and very strong members. And I want to exactly focus on that, and my work as vice president would reflect this focus. And I hope and I wish for that IHLA will evolve into something very special based on principles of equity by being very normal. So, and this is what I want to invest myself in. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Professor Oken. I have a question for you now, which is a priority for IHLA is global policy. This is one of our IHLA's priorities over the next 3 years. How will you help IHLA to influence global policy?
Yeah, I mean, global policy per se is very, very important for health literacy and the IHLA. I'm actually working on some health literacy policy projects myself. I mean, the first step would be, we have the Standing Committee on Advocacy and Policy, of which I was part of for the past 3 years. This could be a starting point to develop a strategy for action, a strategic plan, a work plan, including realistic goals that we can accomplish together, that we then could ratify across all the bodies of IHLA, also together with the members. Once we have this plan for improving health literacy and the global policy levels, we can, together with the members, as I just set out earlier, set this plan in motion through the members in the regions, in their countries, in their respective fields. So it needs an all-hands job to accomplish this goal. And also the other thing is, we have to focus on that health literacy becomes active and an active partner in policy developments on national levels. There are currently so many strategies and action plans on health literacy. Many countries do develop them. And we as the members, we are often part of these developments. We have seats there. We help developing or implementing these plans. And we could represent IHLA there and make sure that there are links and connectivity between what's happening on the national, even on the local level, and what's happening on the global level with what we are doing at IHLA.
Again, thank you so much, Professor Oken, for your statement and for your response. Other candidates are welcome to comment on the topic also in the chat box. I'd like to now welcome Andrew Pleasant, also a candidate for Vice President, to take the stage and to make a statement.
All right, thanks, Sabrina. Hello, everyone. It's nice to see both familiar and new names and faces here, I must say. And to be very candid about it, there's very little that's been said that I would disagree with. So you've got a lot of good choices here, in my opinion. Make the best of it. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about how I got here, because the world has changed. I mean, especially with COVID, evolving communication practices pretty dramatically. But I sort of raised my hand because I figured it was time to give back. I've been pretty fortunate with my work in the field of health literacy and public health and environmental and science communication over the years. And for a variety of factors, I just felt it was the time for me to raise my hand and try to pay some of this back. And you know, health literacy has always basically been a big family. And like all families, sometimes we agree and sometimes we disagree, but we've always managed to move beyond that, which I think is pretty great. So how did I end up in this chair today? I actually grew up in a very, 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 very small town newspaper. And because of that, I had my first story published when I was 5 or 6 years old, because I walked into the newsroom and told my parents some news and they said, sit down and type it. So I did. And then they put my byline on it because I wrote it. They were right. And it's been going on since then. After college, I became a photojournalist and a journalist at newspapers, several. I covered everything from the easiest of kindergarten graduations to the Bosnian conflict, the US presidential elections, the Super Bowl, which is a football championship in the United States, and the World Series, which is a baseball championship in the United States. After all that, I decided to return to the university. I earned a master's degree at Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island, and my PhD at Cornell in Ithaca, New York. And at the same time as I was finishing that education up, my professors at the time, who are now my friends years later, we wrote one of the first books on health literacy that was titled Advancing Health Literacy, a Framework for Understanding and Action. And since then, I've been conducting a lot of health literacy research and projects and publishing articles since then. Shortly after my PhD, actually a little bit before I earned it, that's okay. I was hired by the World Health Organization, ended up moving to Geneva, Switzerland. Most of our work there was on what we called the Health Internetwork India Pilot Project, which established a host of different public health and health literacy projects across the nation. And we conducted the evaluation on that as well. Then I joined the faculty at Rutgers University in New Jersey in the United States, and I was faculty there in a department that we called human ecology. At the same time, rather simultaneously, I helped Ohio State University College of Nursing launch a new degree program that was more or less focused on health literacy. Then I went on and joined two what we call nonprofit organizations in Europe. They'd be NGOs. One was named Canyon Ranch Institute, and the most recent was named the Health Literacy Media Program, previously Health Literacy Missouri. So through all this time, I have been really lucky to both work and travel pretty much all around the world.
Thank you so much for your comments. You may add other comments in the chat box. We do need to go to our next candidate. So greatly appreciate your participation and your response. Other candidates are also welcome to respond to the question on disseminating best practice. With that, I'd like to, again, thank you, Andrew Pleasant, and turn it over to our next candidate, which is Dr. Tien. If you would like to speak your statement, and then we will ask you for your question as well.
Okay. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everyone. It's good to stay with all my dear colleagues to share our vision and mission. It's a great honor to have the precious opportunity to give a speech. I'm trying to be in the position of Vice President to understand who we are, what we do, and where we go. First, who are we? We are a multinational consortium of health literacy promoting combinations, a community full of insight, responsibility, and love to empower people to gain the strength to protect and improve their health. Second, what will we do? We will work with all governments, communities, and individuals to clarify the significant impact of health literacy. Identify health literacy as one of the most important nation priorities, and develop optimal policies, plans, and practice to improve the health literacy. We support every person on earth to make wise judgments and reasonable decisions, take scientific and rational actions, avoid the diseases of infirmity, stay healthy, maintain well-being, and live, work, create, and love with vitality. We advocate, educate, mediate, collaborate, and explore to create a world of health literacy for all. Third, where we will go, committed to protecting and promoting human prosperity, equity, and well-being through enhancing health literacy. We will reach out globally to make International Health Literacy Association an inclusive, open, cohesive, and creative home for all health literacy workers. We will have a clear vision to promote human health literacy and a clear implementation route. And we'll work with all those who are willing to put it into action to create a healthy and beautiful future for mankind. One can go fast, we can go far. With 15 years experiences in global health literacy promotion, it will be a great honor for me to be a vice president to serve International Health Literacy Association, every member and human health as a supporter, promoter, and organizer. Health literacy is power, I think. Thank you all very much.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Tien. I'd like to ask you a question around research is one of our priorities as an organization, IHLA priorities. How will you help IHLA promote quality research over the next 3 years?
Okay, thank you. Very good question, I think. And I think that health literacy, all of the health literacy initiatives should be based on scientific research. We have many topics to research. For example, we should have a global skill. We will share the skill, the tools to mirror the health literacy between the different countries. We can have comparisons. And then we should do some research, on the development of common shared health literacy items. Even if no matter where you are from, no matter who you are, you should have the health literacy necessities. And we can also research the priorities related to the different health problems, such as non-communicable diseases and the pandemic of COVID-19. And we can also research the prioritize the risk factors of health literacy. And we can also research the association, to what extent the association between the health literacy and the health outcomes, such as diseases, infirmity, morbidity, and mortality, and even health literacy and economic development. And I think we should research the association between them. And we should have to prevent the public, such as COVID-19, when we meet the pandemic, the emerging diseases, what the people should have in literacy to prevent, to keep safe from the COVID-19, such as pandemic and emerging diseases. That's all. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you so much, Dr. Tien, for your statement and response to the question. I'd like now to invite Professor Wagner to give your statement as a nominee and candidate for Vice President.
Hello and good day or evening. As a registered and licensed dietitian with a doctorate in public health, I've had experience as both a healthcare provider and public health practitioner. I'm certified in public health, patient safety, lifestyle medicine, health coaching, and as a community health worker instructor. I'm both an assistant professor at the University of North Texas Health Science Center and clinical executive for health literacy at Safer Care Texas, our state's Patient Safety Institute. When obtaining my doctorate in public health, I developed my own residency in health literacy as I'd been exposed to health literacy in my program and had such a passion that I wanted to explore how more of an impact could be made in Texas. Since that time, I've developed expertise in health literacy, delivering multiple programs, speaking engagements, and trainings, as well as testifying in the legislature on health literacy issues. In Texas, I've established a multi-stakeholder health literacy collaborative with the Dallas-Fort Worth Hospital Council Foundation and founded Health Literacy Texas, a statewide nonprofit organization. Both of these collaboratives have conducted foundational research to establish programs and tools to support health literacy efforts, not just locally and statewide, but also nationally, as they are featured on the Centers for Disease Control website. My research focuses on alleviating health disparities in underserved communities through health literacy to improve population health. As a result of my work, I've received both the 2018 Texas Health Literacy Hero Award, as well as the 2020 Distinguished Alumni Award from Texas Christian University, where I received my undergraduate degree in dietetics. Within IHLA, I've served on the planning committee as the liaison with the special interest groups for the Global Summit held this past October. I co-chair the Policy and Advocacy Special Interest Group and serve on the Standing Committee on Finance and Legal. Additionally, I participated in the conference Special Interest Group panel sessions in partnership with two of the groups, both migrant health literacy and nursing, presenting my research with colleagues both nationally and internationally. IHLA is transitioning to a member-driven, decentralized organization in the coming term. Having worked within the organizations I founded in that same framework successfully, I understand the challenges and benefits of the structure, including how to realistically facilitate that transition. I'm committed to assisting and supporting Christine and the rest of the organization, as well as the members in that endeavor, and feel that my leadership within Texas has demonstrated my ability as an effective driver of change. From my work with IHLA and our colleagues around the globe, I understand that health literacy is pervasive. It is not bound by local, regional, or country parameters. As the mission and purpose of IHLA state, we must work together globally to achieve health literacy for all. Like the organizations I've founded, my priorities would be to support the purpose IHLA seeks to achieve, fostering scholarly research and inquiry in health literacy while distributing knowledge gained and findings through publications, summits, and conferences. Encouraging high academic and professional standards, such as I practice every day as a professor, and supporting interdisciplinary health literacy collaboration and policy, but on an international level. My full-time work position in health literacy that I created myself supports the effort required to achieve these crucial activities. I would be honored if you would select me to serve you, the membership, as the Vice President of IHLA. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Wagner. And I'd like to ask you a question. All other candidates are welcome to respond in the chat if they feel comfortable with that. And your question, Professor Wagner, is around a top priority for IHLA, which is members. Members are the top priority as a member organization, and over the next 3 years, how will you help ensure IHLA's value to members? All candidates are welcome to respond in the chat box, but we'd like to hear from you, Professor Wagner.
Well, of course, the fact that IHLA is changing to a member-driven organization will inherently engage the members. And I've already got a jump start on that in the fact that I helped to be that liaison with the Global Summit between the special interest groups. and the Planning Committee. I think some other efforts that could be made would be to develop an interactive portal for global sharing, where everyone can have the ability to share the projects they're working on, to seek collaborative partnerships in research, and where we can invite sponsors and other partners to engage with IHLA in hopes that we will also gain funding sources through that. Building a portfolio of global benefits. So as a registered dietitian, I'm a member of our national organization, and we have an entire menu of benefits that are offered to us as a membership. So we would need to poll the members and find out what would be important to them. And then also facilitating collaborative research. As I mentioned in the chat, I currently work both with Colombia and Poland on collaborative research. And I think that there's many opportunities for members to get engaged in those types of research efforts. I think global policy advocacy would benefit all members. I know that I have been a strong policy advocacy proponent here in Texas, and I get questions all the time from all over the United States about how I've gone about being successful in that realm. And then I think just continuing to engage the membership in the Global Summit. They were such a strong piece of our past Global Summit, and I think that in the future, they will take even more of the spotlight in presentations and holding their annual special interest group meetings, not that they shouldn't also be meeting in between summits as well.
Thank you so much, Professor Wagner, for your statement and your response to that question. Now we transition from our vice president candidates to our candidates for treasurer. And I would like to invite Professor Sasha Fleury to be our first speaker to make a statement for the position of treasurer.
Thanks, Sabrina. Hi, everyone. I am honored to be nominated for the role of treasurer and serve on the executive board of the International Health Literacy Association. I am an associate professor at the City University of New York Graduate School of Public Health and Health Policy in the United States, and I'm also a licensed clinical psychologist. I also chair the Child and Family Health Interest Group of IHLA, and I have been involved in the health literacy field for more than 10 years. I became acutely aware of the power of health literacy as a doctoral student, actually in Texas, Teresa, during my clinical practicums working with patients with low health literacy. And these experiences piqued my interest and commitment to using health literacy as a vehicle to shift the needle towards health equity in underserved children and families. I recall learning about IHLA at a health literacy conference in Bethesda and being really excited about health literacy finally having its own organizational home. And I have been a member since that announcement was made at the HEART conference. And I am definitely committed to this organization growing not just in membership, but in reach and impact. I believe to have insurmountable reach and impact, IHLA has to have a robust and consistent financial foundation. And it is for this reason I'm ready to serve as treasurer. As treasurer, I believe my duties and responsibilities fall into 3 categories: transparency, oversight of the Financial and Legal Affairs Committee, and service on the executive board. All of these categories are, of course, part of my service to the organization, to IHLA members, and to our global community at large. So regarding transparency, as a funded researcher, I have extensive experience creating and managing large budgets while navigating rules and regulations that dictate how and when funds are used. This also requires accountability in the form of keeping meticulous financial records and preparing and disseminating financial reports. As IHLA treasurer, I will adopt the same level of accountability and conscientiousness in maintaining IHLA's financial accounts and transactions, ensure that these financial records are organized and available for review and scrutiny, and prepare and present a report on IHLA's financial status at our annual meeting. Regarding the Financial and Legal Affairs Standing Committee, I will work diligently to identify and recruit members to the committee who are invested in the growth of the organization, have the experience and knowledge to carry out the work of the committee, and who have demonstrated a commitment to equity and sustainability in how resources are utilized. In addition, my default is to be proactive, and this means my oversight of the Financial and Legal Affairs Standing Committee will involve attempting to resolve issues before they become larger, irreversible problems. As a clinical psychologist, I believe I have the conflict resolution skills to effectively address personnel issues. And further, my leadership on multiple committees and research collaborations throughout my academic career have prepared me well for these responsibilities. And my service on the executive board ties in directly with my commitment to advancing health literacy and expanding the reach and impact of IHLA in the global community, especially for groups that are under-resourced and have been marginalized. I envision my role in resolving disputes and concerns regarding fundraising activities to be one where I lean on maintaining the integrity of IHLA and the values, mission, and vision for which it stands, as well as the expectations of IHLA members in the final decisions. Relatedly, I strongly believe that IHLA's platform should be used to promote research and clinical practices that are representative of cross-cutting global health literacy issues and solutions, as well as advocate for equity in representation in research of and by groups who are marginalized across the globe and disproportionately impacted by issues related to low health literacy. I look forward to bringing this perspective to the board in matters affecting priorities, initiatives, and decisions. I want to end by stating that my top priorities as treasurer and a member of the IHLA executive board can all be summarized in one word: sustainability. Sustainability as an organization through financial stability and an engaged membership. Sustainability in the health literacy field through providing mentorship for preparing the next generation of health literacy experts and facilitating collaborative research among members. And sustainability in global influence, demonstrated through IHLA being at the forefront of cross-cutting research, development and dissemination of best practices in both research and practice, and public engagement around health literacy. The opportunity to impact the health literacy field beyond my research through serving as IHLA's treasurer would be an honor. Thank you for your time and your support.
Thank you so much, Professor Fleury, for your comments. I want to give other candidates the opportunity to respond in the chat box to a question about financial stability, which you have focused on in your talk, which it is an important priority. And over the next 3 years, I'd like to know if candidates wouldn't mind commenting on how you will help support IHLA's financial stability. Sasha Fleury, if you'd like to say anything more about that, that would be great. And then we will hear from our final candidate.
Sure. So the first step in ensuring financial stability of the organization is to assess the current status of IHLA's revenue and expenditures and forecast future funding needs. I would also look to other similar organizations to identify models for a sustainable funding structure. However, our funding structure should not come at the expense of the values of the organization, including equity. And many of my colleagues have already mentioned this. The equity in terms of everyone having an equal opportunity to be a part of IHLA. So even if we go to a paid membership model, figuring out what that would look like without us compromising the vision of the organization. That being said, without having much insight on IHLA's current financial status, I am assuming that as a new organization, there's an immediate need to raise capital. I will work with the executive board and the Finance and Legal Affairs Standing Committee on identifying sources of capital that do not compromise the vision of the organization. For example, seeking sponsorship and partnerships from businesses and organizations that align with IHLA's vision of health literacy for all, engaging in crowdsourcing fundraising campaigns, and exploring possibilities for paid institutional level memberships. And to the last point, I believe it is important that IHLA considers what quote unquote products we may offer to members and institutions that can be revenue generating while advancing IHLA's vision of health literacy for all. I think this is critical in establishing a steady, reliable stream of revenue required for financial stability of the organization. And financial stability and organizational sustainability also relies on membership and ensuring that there are opportunities and activities that appeal to both practitioners and researchers. We are not an organization without members, and I believe that financial stability and meeting the needs of the members are not mutually exclusive. And then lastly, in addition to generating revenues, I believe that my regular reviewing of the organization's finances, and readjustment of spending and revenue generating plans will contribute to the financial stability of the organization for the next 3 years.
Thank you so much. All right, let me pass it on now and invite Dr. Seeberger to make a statement as candidate for vice president. Dr. Seeberger, please take the stage.
Thank you very much, Sabrina, but I need to correct you because I'm running for the treasurer position. So
Treasurer position. Thank you. Thank you.
hello, everyone from all over. I'm Gerhard Konrad Seeberg, a German citizen born in Bavaria and since 36 years an Italian dentist in Cagliari, the capital of Sardinia Island, Italy. I started my career in medicine as a male nurse before I became a dentist, and I hold a Dr. Honoris Causa in medicine from the Yerevan State Medical University, Armenia. I have been an assistant professor at the University of Cagliari in clinical periodontology and periodontal surgery, and an associate professor at the University of Iași, Romania, in oral surgery. In both positions, health literacy was a key element to make patients understand the social and commercial determinants of their disease and coach them in avoiding oral diseases and other NCDs sharing the same risk factors. Besides my careers in organized dentistry as a national, regional, and global president and my functions in finance committees and foundations, I'm still an excited wet finger dentist in Sardinia and as a volunteer in the remotest areas of Eastern Africa. I'm honored to be a candidate for the treasurer's post of the International Health Literacy Association, and my top priorities as your future treasurer would be the following. I want to contribute to achieving the mission, long-term goals, and sustainability of IHLA. To that end, I want to work closely with the professional staff and the members of the executive board to seek for and establish realistic budgets and funding goals on a short and long term based on actions that can be measured easily and show immediate success. This would be a teaser for whom wants to support us in developing joint future success actions and success stories. Believing in my developed self, I want to base my work on sound ethics and respect for all board members to better take decisions together. I'll strictly adhere and promote, I will strictly adhere to and promote the parameters set out by our 501c3 status, including timely filing of tax reports. And I will support the board with transparent, complete, and regular reporting on the financial situation of the IHLA, which needs to be seen as milestone checks and thus create trust in our membership. I want to help raising the funds necessary to support educational and coaching events that promote our mission and enable people and societies to improve health and quality of life. And I will work closely with the entire board to achieve funding and support for evidence-based research and practice. I thank you for your kind attention, and I kindly ask for your vote.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Seeberger, candidate for treasurer. And I do have a final question for you to expand on. Transparency and trust is one of IHLA's priorities over the next 3 years. How will you maintain transparency and trust IHLA membership?
I could not agree more with my four speakers, and thank you for this question, Sabrina. I think transparency is needed in order, as I said before, to build trust, and on that trust, we can also build a membership development, which of course needs to be respecting the different income situations, low, middle, and high income countries. And then this can be rather based on gross national income, or this is my personal opinion, on power purchasing parity. Transparency is also needed to move on to become a membership-based organization. And at this point, of course, show sustainability and get into official relations with the World Health Organization, which is an approximately 2 years process. I think, and I'm convinced of being IHLA, an ideal basis to move into a process which is so much needed in the global medical arena. And this is breaking the silo mentality of any kind of medical specialist and operator in the medical field. IHLA is uniting these different specialties of medicine, and they are all under one roof. So working together could definitely show, and at this point be also a leader in moving on to strengthen our healthcare systems with the help of health literacy. Let me tell an anecdote as far as fund development and let's say investing our funds is regarded. This was in another global organization where in the finance committee I was asked how to invest our money on long term. Maybe this will be not a priority in the next 2 years, but on the long term, we need to look into that. And I was telling in 2014, why not invest in noble woods instead of gold or diamonds or anything else? And most importantly, I said, why not investing in education, with which at that time was rated with a 25% revenue? But from literacy, we know that education alone is not successful on the long term. This means if education will, with the help of health literacy, then develop to a coaching, then of course, we will definitely be in the mouth and in the mind of everybody. Another example to where we would develop to is, and this is of course an observation which I made in low-income countries. For example, in Africa, everything that costs more than $1 is out of the range of the most. Close, or let's say from my hometown, there was a physicist developing the so-called $1 glasses, and with $1 glasses enabling many people in Africa to see. I'm convinced that health literacy, of course, oral health literacy included, so please allow for my professional deviation, could be the $1 part from our part for medicine, and of course for successful medicine on a global level. I'm convinced that we have all the ingredients to make IHLA lift off to new heights. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much as well. Thank you to all the candidates. I just wanted to say to members, for more information, please go to the IHLA website. The webinar will be uploaded there. All members who are eligible, those who are members as of the 18th of November, are eligible to vote, and the link will be emailed to all eligible members. Deadline is the 18th. With that, I'd like to hand it back over to Professor Rollins, again to thank our candidates exceedingly for your time and for your thoughtful comments. Professor Rollins, please, if you would close the event for us, would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, I will indeed. And I'll be very brief because I know people have got to go off to other things. Just to say, I'm so enthused by what I've heard. I'm very excited to see who gets through the elections, but whoever does, obviously we'll really welcome their leadership and their input, but even people who don't, from what I've heard, you've got masses to bring, so we'd love to keep working with you. So just thank you so much, really inspiring. Best of luck to everybody in the elections, and thank you so much for your time.
Wonderful. With that, my name again is Sabrina Kurtz-Rossi. I'm the Secretary General of the International Health Literacy Association, and I will now close this webinar. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Sabrina.
Okay.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe.
Thanks, bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Much
Thank you.
appreciated.